Once upon a time, in a village nestled between a river and a forest, there lived a merchant and his wife, who had a beautiful daughter named Vasilisa. From her mother, she had inherited eyes as dark and deep as the river on a moonless night, and from her father, she had received a heart as pure and bright as the sun. When Vasilisa was still very little, her mother fell gravely ill, and before she died, she summoned her daughter to her bedside and said, "My dear Vasilisa, I'm leaving this world, but I want to give you a parting gift, a magical wooden doll that will always remain by your side and protect you from all harm." Vas hugged her mother tightly and promised to take good care of the doll. But unfortunately, her father soon married another woman who became Vasilisa's stepmother, and though she loved her stepdaughter, she couldn't help but compare Vasilisa's dark eyes and gentle heart with her own daughter, who had light eyes and a cruel disposition. One day, the stepmother ordered Vasilisa to go into the dark and dangerous forest to fetch some herbs for her. Vasilisa knew the forest well, because she had often played there with her mother when she was alive. But now it seemed darker and more menacing than ever before. Fearful but obedient, Vasilisa ventured into the woods, clutching her magic doll for comfort. As they walked, the doll suddenly came to life, startling Vasilisa, who dropped to her knees and asked, "Are you a witch?" The doll chuckled and said, "I am no witch, but a magic doll imbued with the powers of my creator. Do not be afraid, child. I am here to guide you through this perilous journey." And so the doll led Vasilisa deeper into the forest. After a while, they heard the cackle of an old witch, Baba Yaga, and the doll said, "She is our destination. But beware, for she is a fearsome witch who delights in tricking mortals with impossible tasks." As they approached Baba Yaga, which stood on chicken legs and was surrounded by a high fence, Vasilisa's heart sank. She knew that if the witch caught her, she would surely be turned into a frog or worse. Taking a deep breath, Vasilisa called out, "Baba Yaga, I know you can hear me. Please let me in and give me some water to quench my thirst." To her surprise, the hut's door creaked open and a gruff voice called out, "Who's there?" Vasilisa introduced herself and explained that she was looking for some rare herbs to help her stepmother recover from an illness. "Herbs, you say?" Baba Yaga, "I just so happen to have some, but you'll have to complete 3 tasks for me first. And if you succeed, the herbs will be yours." Vasilisa agreed without hesitation. The first task was to bring her a drink made from water that sparkled like diamonds. Without thinking, Vasilisa asked, "Is that water from the river of sparkle?" Baba Yaga cackled again and said, "You are indeed clever, child, but to get there, you'll have to cross a field of tall, sharp knives." Despite the danger, Vasilisa's determination grew. She took off her shawl and tied it around her waist, using it as a belt to hold up her skirt. Then she stepped onto the knife field and began walking towards the river of sparkle. The closer she got to the river, the sharper and more numerous the knives became. But Vasilisa pressed on, spurred by the promise of completing her first task. When she finally reached the riverbank, Vasilisa filled up her container and hurried back to the witch's hut. Baba Yaga tested the water and declared that it sparkled, just as she had asked. "Very well," the witch conceded. "You may go. The rest of your reward awaits you at the end of this journey." And so, Vasilisa continued her quest, guided by the magic doll, until they arrived at a meadow filled with flowers that never wilted. In the center of the meadow sat a table laden with food. Vasilisa felt a sense of triumph, knowing that she had already completed 2 tasks and was 1 step closer to earning the witch's coveted fire. With a grateful smile, she started eating when suddenly Baba Yaga appeared before her, a sinister grin on her face. Toiroror, the witch, snatched Vasilisa's magic doll and flung it into a nearby lake. Before Vasilisa could react, the water turned murky, and the doll's cries for help echoed through the meadow. Without hesitation, Vasilisa jumped into the lake. Despite the icy cold water, she managed to retrieve the doll and cradle it in her arms. Though weak and soaked, the doll was still alive, and that's what mattered most to. Touched by Vasilisa's selfless act, Baba Yaga finally relented and gave her the fire she had requested. Overjoyed, Vasilisa returned home with her prize and shared the fire with her stepmother, who was so grateful that she became as kind and gentle as the day she married Vasilisa's father. And as for Vasilisa, she learned that inner beauty and goodness could conquer even the darkest of challenges.